The GoPro Hero 3 Plus is a more thoughtful and enhanced version of the Hero 3. It has a few moderate upgrades and some new features that I think users will really enjoy. Hi everyone, I'm Mia. Changes to GoPro's flagship action camera are conservative but welcome additions. Hero 3 users may not find the improvements drastic, but some new unique features definitely give the GoPro an edge in the action camera market. There's been a lot of talk about how the camera is smaller and lighter, but the actual weight of the Hero 3 Plus is exactly the same as the Hero 3. The housing, however, did slim down a bit, and we'll get to that in just a minute. The new black and silver editions of the 3 Plus have a 6-element aspherical fixed f2.8 glass lens, just like the Hero 3. But if you look closely at the lens, you can tell that it's different. It's been rebuilt, and GoPro says it's 33% sharper. Here's some footage shot with both cameras from the exact same spot. I will definitely say the color on the 3 Plus is closer to real life. The contrast on the 3 Plus is also noticeably better, and it does appear to be a bit sharper. When it actually comes to putting a number on how much sharper, well, that's difficult to quantify in a simple side-by-side field test like this. The Hero 3 Black Edition showed much improved low light performance over the two, but it's still pretty noisy when you're shooting inside. I was wondering if the rebuilt lens would improve the low light performance, but honestly, I didn't notice a difference in the two when it came to noise. Most of the new features were reserved exclusively for the Black Edition of the 3 Plus, so that's the camera we'll be looking at mostly in this video. The Black Edition of the 3 Plus does come with a new feature designed to help out when lighting isn't the best. It's called Auto Low Light. It's a nice feature if you're going to be moving indoors out or through tunnels or any situation where the lighting is going to change. You'll find the option to turn it on under the Capture Settings menu. This feature will automatically drop the frame rate when the lighting is not optimal to let more light into the sensor. So for example, in this clip, the camera is set to capture footage at 1080 60 frames per second with the Auto Low Light feature on. When the lighting conditions change, it automatically drops to 30 frames per second. The difference in brightness is slight but noticeable. The new SuperView Mode takes footage from the widest angle I've seen yet on an action camera. And where it really makes a difference is height, especially when you're shooting selfies. You can cram a lot more into the frame. Here, the camera is mounted in the same place, and I'm standing on the exact same place on this stand-up paddleboard. There's definitely distortion in the SuperView footage, but at least you can see my head in the frame. So you'll be able to decide if that distortion is enough to bother you. I was okay with it. The 3 Plus offers SuperView at 2 video resolutions, 1080 and 720. Something I noticed after pairing the 3 Plus up with the GoPro app is that the Wi-Fi on it is much faster. The latency was less than a second, which is a pretty big improvement over the Hero 3's 4 to 5 seconds. The last area where I saw marked improvement over the Hero 3 is battery life. GoPro upgraded to a more powerful battery, extending your window to capture footage by about 30%. So depending on the resolution and frame rate you're shooting in, and whether you're using Wi-Fi with the app or remote, you should be able to shoot continuously for anywhere between 1 to a little over 2 hours. The available resolutions and frame rates on the 3 Plus stayed the same as the Hero 3. 4K is available at 15 and 12 frames per second, 2.7K at 30 and 24 frames per second, 1440p at 48 frames per second, and 1080, 960, and 720p all have a variety of frame rates offered. At 720p, which is a standard high-definition format, a frame rate of 120 frames per second is offered, which will allow you to slow down high-action video and still see seamless, smooth images without motion blur and vibrant color. Let's take a look at the new housing now. There's some things I really like about it. You'll notice that it's scaled down a bit, especially around the lens. It's definitely smaller and lighter than the previous one. I personally love the redesigned buttons. They're larger, flatter, and much easier to push. So operating it in the field is a lot easier. However, I found the easiest way to navigate the Hero settings is through the app. This new housing is waterproof just like its predecessor, except it's only rated down to 131 feet, not 197. Now 130 feet's plenty deep, but if you're truly looking to use it on deep sea dives, the camera still fits in the old Hero 3 housing, so you could just swap it out to get that extra 60 feet. The only problem I really have with this new case is that I found it much more difficult to get open. The latch can be opened with one hand, but it's extremely tight, which is great for keeping out the elements, but not so easy on the operator's fingertips. Of course, the 3 Plus has all of the features that the 3 had, like Protune capture, which captures images with less compression at 24 frames per second, so the video has a more cinema-like quality. This makes it easier for content creators to work with it in post-production. Video and stills are captured with a neutral color profile so they can be color corrected, but that means that the video won't pop right out of camera. Like the 3, the Hero 3 Plus Black Edition has a photo burst mode that can capture 30 frames of 12 megapixel still images in 1 second. You'll also find time-lapse and looping modes, among others. The silver edition of the 3 Plus does not have the SuperView or the auto low light modes. In fact, the only thing that really separates it from the Hero 3 Silver Edition is the new lens and new battery. So you will still see improved battery life using the Silver Edition. The top video mode for the Silver Edition 3 Plus is 1080 at 60 frames per second and 720 at 120 frames per second for slow-mo action video. The new 3 Plus models are compatible with all of the previous GoPro accessories. They have a mini USB and a mini HDMI port, and they record to Class 10 micro SD cards. Well, that's a look at the new GoPro Hero 3 Plus. I'm Mia McCormick. Thanks for watching.
Whether you're a hobbyist or a professional, B&H has the answers to your questions. Experience a world of technology at our New York City Superstore. Connect with us online or give us a call. Our staff of experts is happy to help.
Scott Kelby here, and welcome to this quick tour of our online training. We have hundreds of online classes for you, covering everything from lighting to landscape photography. From portrait photography to sports, we have classes on wedding, automotive photography, shooting, food, fashion, travel, you name it. The most incredible part of this is the price. You get all of this for just $199 a year, or you can pay monthly for just $24.95. 24-hour a day, 7-day a week access from anywhere in the world. I invite you to join with us today and start learning right now.